Hello, friends. It is I, host Eric, and I'm here today to live stream. And the topic is MBTI Roadmap to People. What does that mean? Just whatever we want to talk about, really. I'm happy to talk cognitive functions anytime. Certainly, primary topic around the channel that people are interested in. I do make other videos, of course, like my video about free energy, but even that linked to cognitive functions somewhat. And of course, I do want to reiterate that when I talk about free energy, I'm not saying like the Joe cell, right? Although I gotta admit, hi Boba Fett, I gotta admit I was pretty tripped out one time when Corey had one of those things going. And he had it producing hydrogen bubbles without any electricity going to it. I mean, they were definitely hydrogen bubbles. You went like this and it went, pah! So, who knows? Regardless, the thing about magic in general, of course, is that these are just I just picked some random. I went to an old downloaded an old downloaded photos folder. So sometimes I'll go up to Google Photos and I'll download a set of photos for some purpose. And so I went to an old one that I had in there before, and I didn't really think a lot about it before I picked it. It's Christmas, though. Maybe I should get a different theme than Christmas, because it's not really Christmas time. So let me see if I can find a better slideshow to have as the background than this one. Let me try, let me view this like this. Okay, I'll pick some better photos. And then we'll have an exciting adventure of photos. We can love, learn, live, long for, lugubriate, make luscious moisture regarding, liberate the peoples of the world, and other important matters. Buckley. Welcome to Buckley, home of the Buckleyites. Who are the Buckleyites, you might ask? People from Buckley, naturally, of course. Who else would they be? Why else would they be? They wouldn't, is the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. You wouldn't understand. It's a point thing. For my slideshow. Now I just need to put it on this size. There we go. And then I just need to turn up this slideshow. Make this slideshow go down. Down. That one's sideways. Oh, sideways. You're so sideways. Let's see. Question here says, okay, quickly, absolute versus instrumental. How does it work slots 5 through 8? So the answer to that is foremost and first of all, bien, bien, ba, bien. Foremost and first of all, bien, bien, ba, bien. That's how it works. The way it works is like this. If you want to be my lover, you've got to get with my friends. Meow, 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 meow. Friendship never ends. That's how it works. Yes, 5 and 7 are absolute, not instrumental. The instrumental ones are 2, 4, 6, and 8. the thing is, your fifth slot as an instrumental value is your most determining or frame active backside function. And the thing is, it's like whatever your back slot function is, that's kind of the world you want to move in. But you don't really move in that world. You move in your first slot function. But, you know, it's been said that if you're going to be fooled at any point, you're going to be fooled by somebody who's pushing your fifth slot. So if I'm going to be fooled, I'm going to be fooled by an INFJ most likely, possibly an INTJ. If an INFJ or an INTJ is going to be fooled, they're going to be fooled by an ENTP or an ENFP. Probably the INFJ is more likely to be fooled by the ENTP, and the INTJ more likely to be fooled by the ENFP. Well, example of being fooled. So, there was a time when this guy Opaloid was active on the channel, was an INFJ, and wanted sort of more, wanted to work with me on the channel, but also wanted to overstated or overestimated his own significance to this process and how much of a difference it would make, and wanted, like, you know, wanted more from me than was reasonable to expect. But it took me, I didn't notice that myself right away. I was like, well, let me think about it, you know. But actually Kimberly was like, that's freaking ridiculous. Because of course she countervalues you kind of countervalue your eighth slot function in other people. Not in yourself really, but in other people. I mean, just like, yeah, okay, Rain. You know, it's funny, I knew somebody was going to call me on that shit. I agree with you. You're right. Okay, you're right. I played fast and loose with the term by saying that you can't have an example of the category of things that are observed that's unobserved. That's making an extra level of complication that's unnecessary. It's simply a contradictory premise. So, you are correct. I stand corrected. Thank you for correcting me. In psych classes, I took a version of the Big Five test. My self-efficacy was 0 because I have no interest in starting conversations. What does that have to do with self-efficacy in general anyway? Starting conversations. About subjunctive conditionals, if I say all my sisters are over 6 feet tall, then I can't say if X were my sister, she would be over 6 feet tall because it's possible my new sister is under 6 feet. I mean, presumably the quantifier, you'd have to indicate somewhere that the quantifier has to be reevaluated because there's an inclusion of a new sister. If you were to say simply that all my sisters are over 6 feet tall, therefore if Jody were my sister, she'd be over 6 feet tall, is valid. You might say, but since she's not my sister, that means that it would be including a new sister, and we'd have to reevaluate the quantifier, the accuracy of the quantifier. And you'd be right, but that would need to be specified, or else it'd be an assumption that the subjunctive mood is the timeless mood of conditionality. There's a timeless mood of conditionality which says, basically, that if Andes and Butts were... Well, it's a timeless thing like... all men are mortal, therefore... Socrates is a man, therefore he's mortal. There's no element of time in that kind of syllogism, right? It's just attributing a label to somebody and saying that having that label assigns certain attributes, and then because you qualify the example of that label, you must have those attributes. Good evening again. It's not evening, it's early in the morning, Steve Van Manen. You must live in some foreign country. I tell you what the main problem with foreigners is. They insist on living places that aren't America. And that's why they're not as, like, normal as Americans, you know? But it's not your fault. You probably were born there. It's not your fault that you weren't born in America. But I can still condemn you for it. It's 0:23. Wow. That is early. That's 1:23 in the morning. Canada. All the shit they put us through all the time with their Canadians and their meh, and maple syrup. There's one thing I've noticed about Canadians, they're all sticky. You know why they're so sticky? Because they're always eating maple syrup all the time. Oh, so... You know, all that means, Steve Van Manen, is that you've switched from maple syrup to mayonnaise. And that's a lateral move at best, okay? Well, I mean, the thing is, it's very simply resolved by pointing out that if we factor in the idea that the set is it the accuracy of the quantifier is conditional upon things staying the same, and if we were to allow for the fact that the subjunctive mood necessarily hypothetically changes the reality, and therefore we'd have to update our information on the quantifier, then that would be fine. But it's like there's an assumption of timelessness in general in syllogistic logic, that if it freezes, then tomatoes will die. And then I tell you later on, it freezes, therefore what? Well, why would you say if it freezes, then the tomatoes will die if you already know it froze? There's no reason to have the conditional if it freezes, right? If you already know that it froze. So, in that sense, conditionality requires an excising of time considerations in order to work properly, because that's part of the meaning aspect of stuff that's removed from the validity equation. When you're dealing with validity alone, you're not subjecting yourself to the constraints of meaning. When you include the constraints of meaning, then you get truth and soundness. But when you're dealing with validity alone, it doesn't matter. You always took exception to the amount of yak that foreigners eat. I'll tell you what foreigners eat a lot of. Not yak, but yuck. That's right. Non-American food is bad. That's the difference between conditionality and causality, no? I'm referring to the static versus dynamic aspect of it. Right. Well, I mean, yeah, causality deals in a real-time world, and conditionality pretends as though that no time passes while you're deciding what to do in your turn. It's like old school chess without a timer, you know. Conditional logic TI people in general, if it's high up, will tend to operate under a frame of reference that says, oh, I've got more or less unlimited time to decide what move I'm going to make. In other words, realities won't shift in ways that are meaningfully significant enough to interfere with my ability to execute the plan I'm coming up with now during the time that I'm coming up with the plan, right? Oh, I gotta warn you guys though. I really gotta warn you. I feel a big poop coming on. So when it is the case that I have to go relieve this poop, or you know what I decided to say from now on? I'm not gonna go poop. I'm not gonna take poop. I'm not gonna poo. I'm gonna realize a poo. Okay? There's some old family pics in there. I will put some music on in the background when I go to poo. No trespass, I will be to catch you. It's one of my favorite lines ever. No trespass, I will be to catch you. Chess versus soldiers on a battlefield is a good example of static versus real time and the corresponding conditional versus causal thing. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Rain. Yes, Adderall is part of the cause of my need to poo. Another part of the cause of my need to poo is coffee, because both of them make me poo. I had asked a question regarding make me realize a poo, sorry. I had a question regarding cognitive functions being a conscious means of paying attention and how that relates to the unconscious effects. Like, oh, right. Okay, so basically my position on it is that by and large, your backside functions are unconscious, but that like your sixth slot function allows you to consciously use it as a subject. Your fifth slot function means you're consciously using it as an agent. At least for me, I'm not sure how these mechanics play out. I'm not sure where the symmetry is. Let me put it that way. But the point is, and then your eighth slot function, you basically don't have any consciousness of it, and your seventh slot function, you only experience it in real time. You have some conscious awareness of it happening to you like an object, but it has no willful application. So the thing here is, the key thing to note is the only backside function that you could call conscious at all, really, is that if you're defining consciousness as willfulness or willful application thereof, is the sixth slot function, and you avoid willfully using it when you can. So it's not like Jung's wrong about the conscious-unconscious thing. I would just say that the sixth slot is a little bit of an exception, and that if we want to talk about define attention, an intentional manner as a willful application of a manner of being towards a given matter, then it makes sense that we basically then don't have our back slot functions as manners of attention. We understand our attentional deficits by referencing those back slot functions. So in other words, by and large, because something's on the back side means I cannot willfully apply it as a manner of being towards a given matter. And even sixth slot is kind of non-willful. Yeah, one does not like to use one's sixth slot function. In some manner, yes. But for example, colloquially, when someone says all their sisters are over 6 feet, they would be referring to the present. If they had a newborn sister sometime later, you couldn't accuse them of lying or having been wrong even, right? Well, that's true. A claim that's made, it's assumed that the person is saying, I assert, I believe, I observe that, or I affirm that before the statement is made. But there's a concession implicit that they affirm that now, and that changing realities could change their affirmation. I think it's the former one, not the latter, Jeremiah. To the extent that a family's interactions with each other are determined by functions, then it's because the people are come into the relationships that way. Like, my parents came into their relationship already being ESTJ and ISFJ, and I came into the family already being EHP as far as I could tell. But will anyone ever top his bear spleen in psych analogy? I don't know what a bear spleen in psych analogy is. I do not know. Breakfast, tea, and a J at the park. That sounds like a pleasant morning. I'm not having any breakfast yet, because I don't usually eat that early in the morning. But, welcome to Buckley. That's all I have to say to you. You know who lives in Buckley, don't you? His name rhymes with Bamhone. That's right, it's Hambone. Hambone lives in Buckley. And you know why his name is Hambone? Because his family owns a butcher shop there. And they make this wonderful stuff called trail mix. They call it trail mix, but it's just chunks of dried meats and cheeses and stuff. It's the best trail mix you could possibly have. It's like you could just live on that shit all the time. Basically, you don't even need to eat anything else except for an occasional piece of bread or fruit or something, so you don't get scurvy. You don't want to come down with scurvy. Any scurvy victims here? Because I'd like to start a scurvy awareness week, I think. Because people don't have enough awareness of scurvy. I was just starting my scurvy awareness campaign. Oh, wait, you're talking to Sky Gear. Sky Gear's not into my scurvy awareness campaign. It isn't insanely difficult, but I also get a sense of elitism. Also, analytic geometry is torture because it should have been part of the linear algebra course. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, boy. You know, I try to do my algebra kind of intuitively or instinctually. And what I've discovered is that I just always get told, hey, you need to do it in a straight line. The best girls in the world. Didn't I already hide you last time you came here? What kind of social dynamics might one expect between an INFJ and an INFP? Well, I got to watch Rachel, and I do want to get back to your question, Jeremiah Fix, which I think is an important one. But, you know, I watched Rachel interact with Corey's wife, and Corey's wife's an INFP, but she was kind of drunk, which makes her more extroverted, but she's kind of got a drinking problem, you know? Anyway, it was mostly Liz talking to Rachel, and Rachel listening, and you know, chatting back and being nice and pleasant, and despite the fact that that particular INFP can be a little bit overbearing when she drinks, Rachel seemed to genuinely enjoy the conversation and would like to hang out with them again, you know. So, of course, she's not like that when she's not drinking, but you rarely see her not drinking because she's got a drinking problem. And she's had it for years. We ruled a kingdom called Ely in Ireland for hundreds of years. Surname means fierce warrior butcher. I come from a long line of thugs. That's why my last name means ostrich. Okay, Bozo, I want to get to your question next. But first I want to get to Jeremiah Face's important question. Were those girls that that guy was promising really the best girls in the world? And if so, how did he make that determination? How did he measure the quality of girl? Is there some girlometer that I don't know about? Bozo asks, Eric, do the people who rescue animals really have holsters with Dawn brand dish soap in them? Is there any truth to their claims? Of course, because what do animals need to be rescued from more than anything else? Being filthy animals. Animals live outside in the dirt and stuff. They're going to get dirty. So that's why you got to put them in the dishwasher. First step to rescuing an animal is to fill your dishwasher full of animals and turn it on high. Oh, Sky Gear. I do have an example of Sky Gear being an INTP and not an ENTP. His name is Sky Gear, the sheer peer of the queer drear deer. It's too much extroverted intuition. that's second slot, not dominant. So I'd like to start a Filthy Animals Awareness Week in which we discuss how filthy animals are and how we need to go out in the world and clean them. Squirt them with soapy water. Take that, you filthy animals, we'll say. Yesterday I squirted the peacocks with a hose. I tried to get them to leave. It's like, you feed those fuckers one time and they get super entitled. So there was this mother with a baby and I was like, oh, how cute. And I fed them and then now they keep coming around and the baby's like almost full grown. And it's like, okay, now you guys are just entitled and annoying me. You come over here and you poop all over the deck and I got to wash the deck off and you won't go away. And it's like yesterday afternoon they were like, squawking at each other so loudly. And I was just like, okay, you guys got to go. You guys have got to go. She's my little pony, she's skinny and bony, she eats like a roni, she's my little pony, she's faking, she's phony. Delilah did not like it when I sang that song to her when she was a little kid. She didn't approve of the negativity I was directing toward, there she is, there's Delilah right there. She didn't approve of the negativity I was directing towards your mom's face. So, I mean, towards My Little Pony. I would never direct negativity towards your mom's face. Just ejaculate. Thanks, Eric. You're a real friend. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. That's what your mom says, too. You take such good care of my mom. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I got muted again. Look at that. What kind of crazy nonsense is that? You missed my totally, totally, totally do song. How messed up is that, right? Okay, totally do. Here we go, totally do's. What you're going to get now is a taste sensation of a treat, of wonder, and a magnificent fantasticness that you'll never forget for the amazing time that its duration lasts for the rest of your life. Forever and ever, amen. Okay, so here we go. Puggity pow.
Brad, do you know how to roller skate?
Hell no.
No. There we go. That's Delilah on roller skates. Okay, so what are we doing today? We're showing Delilah on roller skates. That's a good background video, huh? That's family fun. That's friendly family fun. The kind of excitement that anybody can get behind. Meaning you can predict the effects of some interactions so you're good, better at FE, understanding when observing other people, but not so good when it comes to your own interactions? Is that what you're saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying. Stupid. You're saying it, maybe. If one were 6-slot FI, would an example of being aware that FI malfunction look like this? One, getting upset with themselves for being selfish and not putting others above themselves? Yes, that would. For example, there was one night that our old nitrous thing broke, so that it was such that when we tried to put nitrous into it, most of the nitrous would be wasted and only a little bit would go in here. So I'm like, okay, we got to get a new one of these. So I put the whippets away, and I went and took a nap. And when I got up from my nap, Rachel had finished the whole box of whippets anyway, despite the fact that to do so she had to waste most of the nitrous. And I was expecting to get up from my nap and then we'd go get another. So I said, like, let's go get another cracker. And she's all, okay, well, can we get more whippets too? I'm like, what? You finished those whippets? And she's like, yeah. And I was kind of mad. Mostly because it was like, it's just such a waste, you know? And she was mad at herself after that. And her explanation was very much like, I'm sorry, I was really selfish. I shouldn't have been like that. And my position wasn't so much that she was being selfish as that she was being wasteful. No, Spacey's not in this photo, I don't think. There's me and Delilah. I think my dad's somewhere. Rachel is somewhere. But that's it. Well, she didn't practice. The funny thing is she's just learning to roller skate right here, basically. Like, this is like the second time she's roller skated. So, in my opinion, it's like, wow, she's, considering the fact that she's trying to pick this up at 22, she's picking it up pretty quick, you know? I'm, like, impressed. But I guess it's something that her mom took her to go do not that long back, and she liked it. Her mom's probably in ISFP, although possibly an INFP. Regardless, she was damaged, very damaged. Delilah's mom, biological mom, like not a healthy person. Which, of course, is why she's a serial cheater. Oh, that's Delilah's ex-boyfriend. That's who that guy is. That was, what was his name? What was that kid's name? I forget what his name was. That's not her current boyfriend. That was her ex-boyfriend. That's the boyfriend that went to Hawaii with me and Rachel and my dad and Delilah. But I don't remember his name. He was very quiet. ISFJ, I think, but very quiet ISFJ. FE in a loving situation versus FE in a somewhat hostile environment plays out very differently. Right, that's absolutely true. So, it's like, it's certainly the case that the reason I don't do that, Rain, is because it's not effective. No, uploading sessions benefits me a great deal. But the fact is, if somebody is going to pay $100 to get typed and have entirely the choice up to them as to whether it gets uploaded or not, then they're going to pay that, and offering them a discount to let me publish. I mean, the thing is, I was thinking about having a sale for November. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, but the reason being, typing sessions produce more typing sessions when I get to publish them. But to the extent that cost is a barrier, in other words, you basically can't incentivize people to publish. Either they want to publish or they don't, by and large. A lot of people who come in to a session come in knowing they want to publish, and then maybe still saying like, well, share it with me first privately because they just want to be extra double sure, but basically they know they want to publish. That's part of why they're doing it. And so it doesn't, there's no, it would seem like you can incentivize it, but it's not really the case. And the thing is, it's like what I'm providing is definitely worth $100. Like I'm providing my full attention on figuring out who you are in a meaningful way. And I'm a very experienced typologist and a very insightful person. So my time is valuable. As it is, I feel like I allow myself to get underpaid a lot, So I might have a sale though anyway, because I'd like to have more sessions published. And I think the more I publish and the more I do it, the better I get at it, the better the sessions get, the more people want to watch them, and then the more people want to get typed, I think I'm at my most likable in typing sessions. I'm at my most likable when I'm one-on-one working as a client for somebody, trying to be a good professional at what I'm doing. I'm like on in the best way. And when I'm doing what I feel like doing around here, I'm not necessarily that. And I'm, this is a different kind of environment than a one-on-one session, having a live stream like this where I've got all these different people talking to me about meow. And it's very much means that I express a range of sort of emotions, I guess. And that in general, I'm very me-centric. Hey, Eric, what do you think about an ISFP being methodical and analytical? Does it make sense? What types would be more methodical and analytical? Well, Al Giro Davids, let me tell you that I have a video I've called, I think it's called like, if I'm an ISFP, then is this SE or something like that? And basically it answers that question specifically, which is, that ISFPs are foremost deliberative. They have FI as a dominant function and an absolute value. They also have NI as an absolute value, which is a knowledge function that operates basically by waiting for enough pieces to come into one's frame of reference for a picture of the whole to emerge. So both those things play out as constraints on their SE, such that before they're going to actually take action, they want to make sure that that action is not going to lead to regret, FI dumb. Secondarily, that action is going to universalize, NI third, and that reduces the amount of actioniness of ISFP to the lowest amount of action of any of the 1-2 action types. Any of the NE 1-2, SE 1-2 types, ISFP are the least active. And the reason for that is because of what I just said about the FI and the NI. Well, what? Listen, we don't want to meet you, webcam guy. You're waiting. Well, keep waiting. Because I don't understand why we would want to meet you. You had previously indicated you had the best girls. But if you have the best girls, then why would we want to meet you? Why not introduce us to the girls? Here's a girl you could look at, my daughter. You can see she's skating on her roller skates. Probably a bot, yeah, I'm assuming it is. I know. I'm not, I don't actually think it's a person. I'm just pointing out the implicit contradiction in the two voices. The first one indicating that was sort of a male voice saying we have the best girls, treating women as chattel in a misogynistic fashion. Second one, behaving as though it were one of those girls. Wait a second here. Who's behind this? Who's the person behind this voice? You know what? I bet you that that if you were to go to that site, it would be less than fully legitimate. That's what I'm guessing. Delilah's roller skating, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's get another roller skating video going here. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right, Rain. You're right. I'm being bot groupist, aren't I? Pretending that all bots are the same. Eric, that's not the case, okay? Bots are people too. It's like, really though, if you were to say, if you were to say, what's going on with mama, then you'd have a different answer. Oh yeah, I'm not lying. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that with my mouth. I'm telling you that with my house. I'm telling you that we're going south. And I'm telling you that meow meow mouth. Okay. So, I don't want to wait for my life to be over until I meow 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 before I meow 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 meow. And I don't think you do either. I think it's unfair of us to expect each other to wait until our lives are over. That's okay. The thing is, maybe it's bipolar or whatever, but I kind of totally expect people to objectify her. She's very objectifiable. You know, I've often wanted to be like, come on the stream and like put on less clothes so that we can exploit your boobs for my success. She doesn't want to though. What are you gonna do? It's like, God damn it, let me exploit you. What are you gonna do? When a daughter doesn't want to let her father exploit her, you just gotta just grin and bear it. All right, fine, I won't exploit you. God. Talk about frustrating. All right, let's go. Let's rock. Let's row. Let's giggity go.
Bob,
Let's rock. Let's row.
met
Let's
his
giggity
wife
giggity go.
at the roller
Now we got a
rink.
new
He said,
video.
and actually owned the roller rink. Did I open the front door?
You good?
Yeah.
I'm happy.
There. Now I muted it. There's Delilah coming down the driveway, yeah. And Rachel's right behind her, and she's skating, yeah. Uh-oh, watch out, Rachel, don't fall over. Be careful. Careful, Rachel, don't fall over. So, maybe I sound stupid, but maybe you can publish some clips of the typing session or like turn up the camera. I mean, I've got a whole playlist of typing sessions. I'm not sure what to make of these comments of yours, meh. Maybe you can ask typing police to comment on sessions. I don't know. Maybe people will agree, highlight its positives. I've put up plenty of typing sessions, and generally people do agree with my conclusions, although sometimes they don't. It's kind of hard to argue. I mean, it's always possible to argue against a given conclusion, but it's typically pretty difficult to come up with a preferable counter advocacy to what I've concluded. Wait, are these the roller skaters that are analogous to bikes with training wheels before using the skates with wheels that are in position in a line? Or is that just different skating altogether? That's just different skating altogether. These are roller skates, not roller blades. Roller skates existed a long time before roller blades, and then somebody came up with roller blades to basically make them go faster, I guess. But I mean, the thing is, Boba Fett, as far as the people who didn't show, the person who didn't show up for the session, I don't even know who it is exactly, because I mean, I could probably figure it out, but I don't really care enough to bother to figure it out. So it's like, it's either in my email or on my phone. Possible somebody called me. I'm not sure where I got the information, where I put it down, and all I put down was typing session. No, they haven't paid yet. And that's the other thing, is sometimes people don't pay me, and then I don't even... It's like, I'll notice, like, okay, that person never paid. But then, chances are I'm not going to necessarily follow up with them. It's like, whatever. Just, that shit happens sometimes. I don't necessarily go over paying me before we book the session. And a lot of times people have to ask me at the end of the session, wait, how do I pay you? Or even email me later. Wait, how do I pay you? So, I'm not very good about that stuff. I should be better. It does matter. You know, it's like this lady I talked to yesterday. She wanted to talk to me about the presentation she's doing in college she's doing like coding in college, like computer science, but she's got this teacher who's making her do presentations in class, and she's getting low grades on them. The teacher wants her to basically be a good public speaker, make good eye contact, extrovertedly intuit on the fly, engage the audience accordingly. But of course, she's an INTJ and she can't do any of that shit. So I gave her a few little tips, and she wanted to pay me, and I was just like, is your fundamental ethos, I am free to do as I please as long as it doesn't infringe or harm others directly? If so, then your statement in the Teal Swan video stating you were transparent for correction is not accurate. Because those open for correction believe their example is a possible way to cause harm. What? That doesn't really make any sense. I mean, my position is that in general in society, that which is not prohibited, not that which is not expressly prohibited is permitted. Sometimes there are things expressly permitted that I think, expressly prohibited that I think ought not be. I'm not upfront about it. Like, I'm not trying to hide it or anything. I make it pretty clear that it costs money to be typed by me. I mean, the thing is, I'm transparent and open to correction. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm transparent because I want to be corrected. It means by being transparent, I avoid this sort of festering self-deception that other people suffer from by both. You can only suffer from certain kinds of self-deception to the extent that you keep it private. And I don't have to suffer from those because of my transparency. It's just, it's basically a strategy towards playing prevent defense, a workaround for FI polar. Well, I'm saying that's one of the outcomes of it. You keep trying to turn it into a motivation. You keep trying to say, you're doing this because, right? And that's where you've gotten it wrong. It's not, I'm not making a choice based on this reason or that reason. These are the sort of outcomes of it, how it plays out. So, I mean, I can make arguments as to why transparency works for me. I can talk about how it works for me. But it would be incorrect to say that any of those explanations are why I go that route. Well, I'm not saying I don't have motivations. I'm just saying that you're assuming that the arguments I'm making about why it might be a preferable frame of reference or how or why it works for me ought to be interpreted first and foremost as motivations. Those, just because I'm making those arguments and describing those things doesn't mean that they comprise my motivations. And when I say I'm transparent and open to correction, that doesn't mean I really want to be corrected. Obviously, I'd rather be right. I mean, it's more comfortable being right than it is being corrected. Like, Rain corrected me on my sloppiness in that video. My ideational sloppiness. It's like I tried to turn what was a simple contradiction into an example of a category error, even though it wasn't. And I sort of realized it after I put the video up, and I was just like, okay, well, and I forgot about it until Rain brought it up this morning, and I was just like, I was already prepared to concede the point because I already recognized it after I put the video up, but not before. And that's kind of an ENTP different from an INTP, right? INTPs, they don't realize things after they say them, they make sure that shit checks out before they say it, right? But then, of course, that makes them less capable of doing things. So it's a half dozen one, six of the other, as they say. You know that old saying, half dozen of one, six of the other. All right.
Ron's Uncle Bob met his wife.
But is
after
Media
Roller
Source 7 the
Rink.
same as
They,
Media Source 5?
and actually owned the.
I mean, Media Source
Did I
6?
open the front door?
You good?
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Is that the same one?
I think so. I didn't open it.
I hope Pete doesn't go in.
Oh, actually, you know what? I did open it. that was me. I opened it.
Rachel, let's
Rose
fall down
and,
here.
You were at their house
Yeah.
in Baton Rouge.
Yes. Okay, that's the
They
same
owned
one.
a
So,
roller rink.
let me get a different one. There's one more. Media source, you're a media source, you're a media source for me. Source my media in my media, please. Oh, media source. You're a media source.
And skate.
That's what you are.
Okay, going backwards. Ooh, you're gonna go backwards? Barely.
Oh, media source 8. You're so cray. What was that guy's name? I cannot remember that guy's name for the life of me. Some kind of Mexican-y sounding name. If all media and technology prior to 2021 was eliminated, would this footage be the first silent film of the new cinema? And if so, how would it compare to the now lost silent films, mostly shorts, of 1910 to 1915? Favorably. It would compare very favorably. They would say, I am the lost genius of the silent film era. I think that's fair to point out. I don't think that's too bold a claim. INTJ. Boba Fett. INTJ. She was an INTJ. I like her a lot, actually. She's, it's like, I've never been a fan of respect cultures like Japan or the Middle East, where people are expected to go out of their way to show respect to certain parties, like because you're older or have more status or whatever. I don't like that in general, but I find it kind of refreshing the way that she approaches me in this like respect frame that makes me go, huh. Like, I believe that she respects me. And I don't often believe that. Which is weird. Maybe NI over TI are more inclined to make too little distinction and be too metaphysically wishy-washy and flexible. I mean, NI over TI are more likely to make a fundamental attribution bias, to assume that everything is motivated or caused by either, I guess, systemic architectural realities or people's motivations. So both INTJ and INFJ are prone to NI overreach. And on a simple personal example of this, the example that I've mentioned before and is definitely exemplary is the fact that Rachel continues to periodically consult astrology and or the tarot regarding the compatibility between her and me. Now, that's a very silly thing for her to do, because if you were to simply look at your own experiential data, your SI, if she were to do that, she would conclude that we were obviously very compatible. We almost never have any fights or any conflicts. We're very much in each other's company most of the time. And, I think we're both very, all the objective SI data says we're both very happy and both very compatible, and there's nothing to worry about. But, of course, NI people, NI DOMs don't trust experiential data very much. They think that to the extent that something is predictable and knowable, it's because of some quality of its identity rather than because of its tendency towards repetition. I guess to a certain extent, NI people don't recognize how much tendency towards repetition there is in SI people, and that's because as like I said before, I think your 8th slot function is kind of your least conscious function. And maybe is it fair to say that types with NE over TI are more inclined to make unnecessary distinctions because they're more inclined to view things from a case-by-case basis? Well, I mean, if you look at socionics, that would seem to be an example of NETI run amok. In other words, there's a lot of distinctions being made with inadequate work done on the frame. Like, I can make these distinctions, therefore I will. What these dichotomies comprise, whether they're just descriptive, whether they're mechanical, or something else, will just not address, right? We'll just make a bunch of distinctions without conforming to a singular NI frame. Well, the thing is, James Carolus, and this is this thing I stress to NI DOMs when I don't agree with them, it's that I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you can't substantiate that claim. Because it may very well be that their NI proves correct. But knowing something and being able to substantiate the claim are different matters. Is the Terra example what one would expect to see with NI dominant? Wouldn't that be more in line with SI polar? Not that I doubt Rachel's being an INFJ. I mean, I don't think that SI polar would be dragged back to their NI well, put it this way. Rachel's very good at remembering exactly what I said when it's something that could be construed as critical of her, regardless of what it is. Now, in that regard, that's an SI. That's SI serving NI in a way that I don't think it would for ENFJs. And I mean, there's other things. Well, I mean, I typed Rachel initially as ENFJ, in part because I thought she was SI polar, and it wasn't until I was with her for a long time and heard her use various anecdotes to make points, heard her use specific examples, and just realized that she's got a rather complicated relationship with her SI. It's like, you know, she has a sleep disorder, and And she grew up in a family of mostly SI people, except for her brother, who was SI polar. And she didn't have a good experience with other people's SI impositions upon her. And she's rather antagonistic towards it. Especially anything of anybody telling her, like, when to eat, how much to eat. She hates the idea of somebody telling her she has to finish her food. So it's like these kind of things are like she's grown accustomed in her own SI experience to things like getting scolded if she eats a little bit of the food and then decides she's full, and not being allowed enough, I guess, authority over her own SI stuff. So she's kind of prickly about it. But as one of the reasons why she's so happy here with me is that I don't push on it at all. I don't expect her to remember things. I don't expect her to cook for me or anything. And because I don't expect it, she really likes to. And if I ask her to make something, she's happy to do it. Especially when my dad's out of town, like now, where we can. It's a lot easier using the kitchen when he's not here, just because it doesn't involve having David Strauss looking over your shoulder. What about analogies? Are they an any thing or an NI thing to express a singular truth? Well, interesting question, Boba Fett, because I was thinking about something like that in the car the other day. That an analogy is a way of rendering a TI, usually, equivalency into an NI whole for others. So if we look at the example of Barack Obama's analogy in a presidential debate, his opponent, I don't remember who it was at the time, but his opponent argued that the U.S. military was falling behind, that we have fewer battleships than we used to and fewer fighter jets than we used to. And Barack Obama said, we also have fewer muskets and horses. Is that a big problem? See you later, Danae. Have a pleasant day. You're welcome. So the thing is, in that, what he was trying to convey to people is that pointing to raw military numbers like that, the fact that we have fewer total battleships than we used to, or that we have more whatever, fewer whatever, or something like that, is not a good way to establish how strong the military is. So, Japan in World War II made the Yamato, which was a super amazing battleship, right? And as a consequence, they didn't make a lot of other battleships, and that ended up hurting them because they had too few battleships. But so that's not a good example. But the point is that the United States wouldn't be stronger if we had more horses and muskets than ever before, is a way of saying it's not necessarily stronger to have more of something. Sometimes it's good to have things that are better and more expensive, but fewer of them, than cheaper and have more of them, right? So this whole concept is trying to be conveyed by Barack Obama in a way that resonates with regular Joes everywhere, and that's how he does it, with that analogy. So it's like it's a way of converting a complex TI understanding in that instance into an NI whole for other people to get. Now, if you could presumably do that as well with FI understandings of things, that would probably sound something like, imagine if you had worked 6 hours on this and blah, 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 which is a very straightforward kind of analogy. Or I guess you could analogize, like, think of a newborn mother having her baby ripped from her teat and smashed against the wall. That's how I felt. Maybe that'd be an ENFP analogy. I don't know. And I is like, what if death is just the end and everything black? My response would be, I bet you're fun at parties. Jeremiah Vicks. I'm well past, well, technically, no. It's either going to go, no, I'll put them back right now, or it's going to go, I did put them back. What? Oh my God. I was so careful to put them back. What the fuck did I do? Like that. It's one of those two. It's never me trying to argue about something like that. Not anymore. Maybe when I was a kid or something, but I've long since learned the futility of that. I can't get anything past my dad like that. I have to say that this week I feel generally more relaxed than I have in a while, having gotten that tax paper handled, and my dad having been gone now for like 5 days and got a couple more days he's gonna be gone. I start to sort of settle into a very relaxed flow of things, but it takes me a little while to adjust to the fact that, okay, I don't need to carry around this constant anxiety. It's like various possible stressors can cause me to carry around a great deal of anxiety. For example, if the heater in my car doesn't appear to be working. Like, I'm not sure why, but my car worries me a little bit. It's got a couple of problems. I think, sometimes the light comes on and then it goes off again, and I'm not sure why, and it's like that causes me some stress. Things like that. LDS honestly believes that the garments protect you from spiritual and physical harm. Bizarre, but pretty innocent compared to other shit that happens. Mormon garments are like adamantine armor. Maybe I should get myself some Mormon garments. The problem, I think, in general, is I'm wearing too many clothes and too few garments. I think another big problem is I'm wearing too many shirts and too few blouses. If I ever get rich and famous and have a personal stylist, the first thing I'm going to inform them is, listen, number one, I like my shirts a little blousy. I want to show off my bosom, so I know I'm not very stacked. I never claimed to be a big boobs, okay? I'm an A cup, maybe an A minus, but hey, I'm not going to let you body shame me. I call that Eric squeezes his boobs. Ta-da! Latter-day Saints. Yeah. They're the ones that came later than the original ones, The cool thing about Latter-day Saints, apparently, is they really don't like Indians. I mean, American Indians. And I find that, adorably racist of them. I think it's about time for us all to agree to find racism adorable instead of threatening. Oh my gosh, how quaint and adorable. What a quaint and adorable manifestation of hatred. That is just, it just makes my day to see somebody wallowing in anachronism in the fashion in which you wallow. Oh my gosh, you're wallowing in an anachronism. Look, honey, this is like colonial Williamsburg, where they dress up in old-fashioned clothes and act all old-fashioned-y. These people are acting racist. It's fun. It's like plantation days. I am an ex-Mormon, but not one to spew animosity everywhere. As I understood it, an evil institution with many good people associated with it. I mean, I have always liked Mormons when I've encountered them. They've always been very pleasant. I worked across the hall from a Mormon lady named Mrs. Murphy, who was very popular, beloved by the kids. I liked her too. She was great. She was, she eventually divorced her husband and I think left the Mormon church. And yeah, and then she got with this Armenian dude. She's this blonde, blue-haired lady. I mean, blonde, blue-haired. Blonde, blue-eyed lady. Like textbook Mormon-y lady. She's got 3 textbook Mormon, blonde Mormon kids. Racism is dead. Polygamy is where it's at now. Aw, yeah. Aw, yeah. I think polyamory is the contemporary thing, right? Polyamory is where it's like me and you, a couple of dudes and a couple of chicks as well. That makes 5. Oh yeah, it's super fun and well. If you're like me, you love polyamory, having lots of humps with lots of different people and lots of different bumps. Well, you know, I was raised as a rather strident atheist. Or at least my dad is a rather strident atheist. Still is quite verdant, let's say, verdant in the lush growth of atheism. Verdant in his lush forest of atheism. But I'm obviously not an atheist anymore. So I don't have any bad feelings about church or religion, really. Because I never actually had to experience other people's stupid religion, you know. I just got to experience oh, you ripped that off from Pulp Fiction? I didn't get the illusion. You shouldn't say you ripped it off. You should say that's an allusion to. If you're going to acknowledge it at all, then you say, I alluded to. Did anybody get my allusion? You savages. You don't get what I'm alluding to? It's from Canterbury Tales by Chaucer. It's the tale of the minstrel making a bawdy joke at the serving wench. It's like, James Carolus, here's something I think we can both agree on. Get your warning hackles up if anybody begins talking to you by saying, so I was in Prague and... No, Mr. Prague, get out of here. You get out of here. That's what you say to him. It was just before the Yuletide, and I was standing on the street corner of a snowy road in Oslo, waiting for a motor car to take me into Soviet Russia. The year was 1982. That I'd sit and listen to. Some great stuff in that Chaucer. Chaucer sounds like a slang term for something like, she's got a great Chaucer. What's that? Her lady part? You mean her vagina? Shh, we call it her Chaucer. Why? Because it's constantly traveling to Canterbury. Can I bury my wiener in your tail? That's the kind of Canterbury tale that I want to read. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. They should make a porn movie called Can I Bury, and then in parentheses, my schlong in your tail? I have two chicks bent over. There's some great stuff in Chaucer. Miller's Tale. A woman farts in her lover's face out the window because some other dude's fucking her. That sounds awful. Sounds like a terrible, terrible experience for everyone involved. Good morning, Lady Lou. It is absolutely Lady Lou lovely to see you this morning. I don't think I've ever read Canterbury Tales, actually. You know who's a pretty good poet, though, I gotta say? Pretty damn good poet. One Mr. John Milton. Can't go wrong with some Milton. He's much better than Shakespeare as a poet, at least. I mean, he wasn't a dramatist, but he's a much better poet than Shakespeare. Shakespeare's sonnets suck ass compared to Milton's. Anybody who knows anything about verse and Milton's clearly a TI user, and Shakespeare is definitely an FI user. I mean, the only other possibility for Shakespeare would be like ENFJ, possibly. But I don't think so. I think he's ENFP. I think Shakespeare's an ENFP, and I think Milton's an ENTP. Or an INTP. One of the two. Probably E, though. Because he's really, like, kind of fanatically magical thinking-y, faithy. Quit being so faithy. Because you're faith in my faith. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Quit being so faithy. You're making me wanna puke. Yeah, 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 yeah. There. Why you no play? Why you no play? How about you?
Mom's Uncle Bob.
That one plays. How about this one? That one plays. How about this one? There we go. We're back to this one. The hardest thing I ever read was El Cid in 11th grade, 1B Spanish. He thinks her bush is a man's beard and shouts, "A beard, a beard." Then the guy tries to do it again, sticks his ass out the window, and the original guy sticks a red hot poker up his ass. Yeah. That seems beyond body to just being like just like not good humor, I guess. I guess there's something timeless about bodily function humor that people have always enjoyed. And certainly I'm not one to really talk shit, because I do talk a lot of poo. I talk about my poos a lot. I discuss them, and they're important to me. You should see some of the shit they teach high school kids these days. It's like if it falls under the category of progressive, then it can be really quite adult. Like, I mean, the end of that book about the Iranian lady, it's a graphic novel that Jeffrey read. What was it called? I forget. It's kind of famous, I guess, but It was really dark. It was really very adult, like atrocities of war kind of adult. The kind of shit that if you were a prosecutor for The Hague and you had to actually watch videos of it, would scar you for life. So it's like, descriptions of it are a little less dramatically impactful. No. It was a book they had the kids read, and I had to read it too because I was working with Jeffrey on it. I forget what it's called. It's a famous book by an Iranian lady. It's a graphic novel about her time being a sort of Western-educated Iranian youth transitioning from the pre-Iranian Revolution through the Iranian Revolution and moving away from Iran. And I forget what it's called. Yes, I forget what it's called. 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 But it's called something, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Persepolis. That's what it's called. Thanks, James Carolus. You got it right. You win the prize. Most knowledgeable guy. That's pretty good, huh? It's not easy to win the prize of most knowledgeable guy. You've got to be a pretty knowledgeable guy to win that prize. Only the most knowledgeable of knowledgeable people win the Knowledgeable Person Award for knowledge and knowing of things that are to be known. Let us speak of the knowing of things that are to be known. Let us speak of it now. Which things are there to be known and why are there to be known? Let it be known why. Let it be known who. Let it be known how. Let it be known where, why, when, who, who, ha. Media source, 9. Browse. I'm going to go poo pretty soon. Getting you guys set up for that. I'm picking out a thermos for you. No ordinary.
Hello, my name is
thermos.
Delilah. Today was Dad's proposal to Kimberly. It was pretty cool and nice and surreal to have everyone here. And we're going to pass down and have someone say something. Okay, so everyone's going to take the camera and say something to the camera. Oh, good. And you have to pass it down after this and hold it.
I don't know what to say.
I've read it to everyone.
Will pass it back to myself. There you go. Say something. I don't
Say
know.
anything. Well, I just said anything. I said it to my dad.
Alright, y'all.
I'll grab it on the way back. You can't just bomb that on me like that. I have no question.
We think we are being followed.
You know what?
Not for certain. It's been 32 hours now since the impact. The outlook is grim. We've had to eat Mark already. We knew we were going to have to, so we did it preemptively, but yeah.
It's Jewel. Back when those two were together.
No.
They wanted to go work for you.
We had a good day. I don't know where I'm supposed to look. Yeah.
You look, it's over here. I kept looking over there.
Oh,
and my
down
eyes-
here?
Yeah, something.
That's terrible.
It was weird. My eyes were
I had glasses on while I'm doing this.
But we had a good day, and the proposal went off without a hitch, and it all worked out. So I'm happy.
Oh,
Say something.
I don't want
camera's
to
like down
turn
here.
around loosely, but what's
going on, everybody?
Back there. Something that rhymes with narcissist.
I'm gonna look good. It's just the video. It's the video he's making.
Just making a video?
Yeah.
No, blow is excellent there.
What's this video for? Jewel, what's this video for? I don't know, Delilah just started passing.
That was Nick Jules.
I would melt the pounds.
Wait, you guys are healthy people, right? What does that to your fingernails?
That's
I'm not sure.
not
I'm
his mom.
supposed to say, but it's good people, it's good beer.
Yeah, it's like, that's only recently.
I can't hear the audio.
It's my diet.
It's weird seeing all these people that I've shared so many things with in person. Finally.
I'm not
What can I say about that?
My nails.
Your nails are growing. What are we doing?
I don't know.
Oh, we're
handed the
everybody's
camera.
saying everybody's
The
saying
camera need
something.
to be go.
Everybody's supposed to say something and give it
I woke
back
up,
to me, 'cause I forgot it.
There's palm trees. I don't actually know what my name is. My wallet is gone.
No, it's just. Like I woke up.
But I have skills. I don't know where I got them. And
Not host Mark? No, I never.
Back this
Seriously, Cameron?
I
That's,
have words now, I think.
Parker. Kimberly's
I have
stepson.
words now. They handed it to me and she was like, talk. And it was like, no.
So,
Like, I don't have
Eric
anything
married
to
my
say.
mom. I think I got proposed to my mom. I'm still hopeful for the future.
I mean, this part of my life did occur.
One day. But really happy. I have food. I'm gonna
Parker
hand it
is
over to her.
ENFJ.
what am I doing?
Back this way.
That's Kimberly. She's ISFJ.
Say anything you like. It's recording.
I'm engaged to Eric.
Oh, this is the engagement.
That's the line that you should be.
Oh,
Alright. I don't want to put that on. No, thank you. Well, I didn't even know what that was. Alright, I'm going to put on some music for you. And I'm going to go to the bathroom. Get ready to rock. Get ready to roll. Get ready to get way out of control. 'Cause Eric's here to play you some songs and hopes that you'll all sing along. He's written this poem to help you know how much he loves and loves you so. That's why this time, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
He's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied, chance to yell at them.
So now he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that bridge brings a new approach. Sneakily, he'll try to encroach up on the guilty. Then he'll finally get his chance to yell at them. He's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that
He's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied, chance to yell at them.
he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize he's Gregory in disguise. Hands in his pockets, now he's walking down the drive. He's Gregory.
It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Could someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. It's a very rainy day in Los Angeles. And today we hope for more time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Could someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving to those who stay awake all night, and mostly voices say to give in and try to sap your will to fight.
Whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten noise, it's sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid.
It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Someone buy us some more time.
Her dress, ignored distress, assessed her chest, left a mess, exit west, and the best we can do is attest that it's true. There's nothing confusing. Lisbeth guessed, cops were musing. Well, Lisbeth didn't have any confusion. She kicked in your door at the stroke of noon, then each and every day from April to June when various plans all about, various deeds underway. Every doubt that it's scary, but that's about all you can say. Various plans all about, various deeds underway. Every doubt that it's scary, but that's about all you can say. She resumed, it was fall. Whispers began to carry at the mall, and tipsters always make the scary call if you're hiding from the heat in a bathroom stall. She was drinking, it's an irrelevant point. She started thinking about smoking a joint. She'd been clinking plenty glasses too. You probably didn't know yet what you would do. Various plans all about, various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt that it's scary, but that's about all you can say. Various plans all about, various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt that it's scary, but that's about all you can say. Various plans all about, various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt that it's scary, but that's about all you can say. Various plans all about, various deeds underway. Wary of every doubt that it's scary, but that's about all you can say. Yelling and kicking, stabbing everyone, killing and robbing, donating blood, running over everything that goes in the road. 'Cause they don't like it. I'm going to go to camp and take you to the place where I stab everybody that I see. These are my activities for my summer camp and week. Won't it be a lot of fun? Stabby, 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 stabby.
Got a story about 10 years old. It's a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. She married up Jeff, turned 19, 4 years in and 3 kids weaned. Weary now and questioning the past. Agency out, pays his discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 20 found bourbon fun, likewise Doug at 21, and so forth well up into middle age. What he once thought would set him free became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency out, pays his discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Everybody's panicked about the kids, lock them up with extra Dexedrine and mathematics to promote success, or to impose more unjust duress. Agency out, pays his discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Without consent, it's really just oppression by parasites surviving while they feed their fear of dying. Yes, they feed upon the futures of the young.
Can you have sex?
People everywhere gather up in a means, outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition right the reason, call it destruction of the whole damn world. She should have got to when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about soon and not although she got a call. People everywhere gather up enemies, outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery, follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck in such petty larceny. We all partition the victories and call it destruction of the whole damn world.
What is the connection between AI and MBTI? Well, it's a good question. Now, I've often made the claim that real AI is impossible, that self-aware artificial intelligence is impossible. But I will state that to the extent one was going to attempt to create an artificial intelligence or even meaningfully simulate human intelligence, one would need to, or I guess more correctly, if one were going to meaningfully simulate human intelligence, one would do so by structuring the simulated humans as configurations of attentional manners. It's a better way of understanding the way that human beings manifest than any other as a fundamental mechanism, right? The thing is, if you were going to simulate the system, what's actually perceived by sensory functions in real life is a simulated or an artificial distinction between different kinds of metaphysical data in the simulation. So if you wanted to simulate things as realistically as possible, you'd simulate it with moving robots of some kind in an actual environment with actual sensory data and try to show how, like at the base level, the functions either end up having the robots, like, spend more of their time putting information in abstract ways or digital ways. Some of them spending more of their time engaging sensory data. Now, obviously, these robots would be limited in the kinds of sensory engagement they could do. They probably wouldn't be able to eat or sleep or bathe, but they could perhaps feel the texture of things and register that as a reinforcement, And if you did it right, it would prevent any individual robot from getting into an infinite loop, as there'd be enough changes in the sort of stimuli of the environment that the cognitive function configuration would work to manifest the prime directive, that is to say, for each of the robots to be able to predict what's going to happen better, basically. It's like it's easy enough to conceptualize sort of the metaphysical mechanics of such a thing, but probably a lot more difficult to make it happen with robots. It's an interesting question. And the reason I don't think AI is really possible is because I think self-aware consciousness is an emergent phenomenon of the convergence between a metaphysical and physical or biological being. And that's what human beings are. They are a convergence of communicative attentional manners and experiential attentional manners, of a real-time interface and a turn-based time interface. But I don't want to wait for my life to be over. I should try to figure out how to play that. MBTI is a corporation, and when I talk about MBTI, what I mean is cognitive functions. The reason I say MBTI is because that's the shorthand term most people use to refer to typology. And so I was convinced by INTJ Winston's mom that it was better to be TE than TI about that. You know, it's like, did Nefarious Deeds play while I was pooping? There's a song on the playlist. I like that song a lot too. I wish I might want to redo the lyrics, because I don't really like the lyrics and they don't go with the song very much, but I'll maybe keep the chorus. If I figured out how to play it, then I could definitely do that, because I don't really even have the existing lyrics memorized. Oh, it didn't play while I was pooping? I want to listen to that song now. Yes, it did. It played during that. Yes, it did. I could see. These bots keep spitting logical fallacies. Clearly, these bots are TI polar. The Satchel Helpful Good Spacey's version is not very good because my guitar's out of tune in it, which bothers me. It makes me feel like meow meow meow. Meow 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 meow. Not to sound pretentious about it, but yeah, cognitive functions is much better than MBTI. This is so much more than deciding who does the research and who fixes the whatever. I agree. Cognitive functions comprises an ultimate metaframe because, as I said before, lots of people in psychology, philosophy, whatever, try to explain various things, reality, people, consciousness, blah, 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 blah. But only cognitive functions explains why they're explaining it the way they are. And that's what makes it the metaframe. That's what makes it the metaframe. Yeah, 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 yeah. The vid looks funny, like Laurel and Hardy or something. Spacey version, huh? I don't even know. I don't even know exactly. Are you talking about the one that was filmed kind of in the dark at the University of Laverne? Because that's the one I'm talking about. It's got a out-of-tune guitar that makes me go wince. I don't like to wince. I don't like to be a wincy Winstertons if I can avoid it. Yeah, and Jeremiah Biggs is making a good analogy there to talk about it as a Zoom level, you know. It really is that. We're accustomed to zooming in such that we're the subject and something else is the object, right? And to the extent that we treat ourselves as an object, it's considered like reflection or self-growth or whatever, or we're getting fitter or going on a diet or something shit like that. But cognitive functions makes yourself the object of analysis in a way that allows you to sort of treat the self as a third party would, in terms of recognizing why you are the way you are. There are certain parts of ourselves that we all want to kind of hide and run away from as we grow up, until we grow up, or whatever you want to say. Even then, it's like, if you show me a person who's completely satisfied with themselves, then I will show you a person who should not be very satisfied with themselves. You know, it's like, you may have a great life and be happy and feel like things are going great or whatever, but feeling too self-satisfied seems to reject the fundamental truth that we're all sinners, you know? I don't mean to get all Christian on anybody, but that's basically my take on being too self-satisfied. I guess a lot of people might accuse me of being too self-satisfied, but I'm not really. I'm very much convinced of the strength of the arguments that I'm making and of my superiority as a typologist and stuff, but that doesn't mean I'm self-satisfied. I'd like to see myself improve in lots of ways. Hey, that's great, Eric, not me. You don't want to improve in lots of ways. Well, that's fine. It may be something that's typologically specific. As an ENTP, I guess if you kind of feel like I got a really late start meeting myself, and that the getting to know myself part is still has a long ways to go. So maybe that comes from being a knower last and being a particularist knower. And maybe it comes somewhat from the lack of FI awareness. I mean, the funny thing, Elise S., is reality's never allowed me to be very egotistical for very long. Like, when I start getting, they say pride cometh before the fall. That's like as reliable as the equinoxes with me. It happens every time. It's happened every time, at least since I quit drinking, that whenever I start feeling all I am the shit, then I fall face first into the shit. So it's just I don't know what got me on such a quick kind of instant karma plan of karma, but that's how it's been like that for a while anyway. Not always maybe, but it's felt like that for quite a few years now. But still, it's like the universe is gentle to me. I feel like I get warnings. If I ignore the warning, then I'll get a consequence, but it'll be on the lower end of consequence overall, like considering or something. Like that one time I was arrested in Oklahoma for marijuana, but they didn't find the other drugs. Even though they were in the same box. That's like the universe saying, okay, Eric, you ignored my warnings and my multiple attempts to get you to not be such a brazen druggie while driving through Oklahoma in your car with your expired tags. And you ignored me, and now you're going to get arrested. But don't worry, we're not going to let you get a big bus. James Carroll said that has to be two of the funniest consecutive sentences I've read in a long time. I thought the insights from a few minutes ago were deep as fuck, and I dug that shit. I forgot what you said now, but I'll probably rewatch it. Probably. That's funny. It's like normally you'd expect like super deep insights to to be memorable. That's cognitive functions for you. My guess is James Careless must be an NI type, not an SI type, right? What if your ego is shot? What does it mean to have your ego be shot? FI is meaningful, more meaningful than probabilities. The thing is, spending time FIing, which is to say, like, I guess actively trying to enjoy that which you find precious, is, and it's impossible for me to sustain that for very long. So it's true that it's meaningful, but it's only it's always like a consequence of, or it's always it's always something that happens to me. So when I'm watching TV show and I'm crying a lot, then that's happening to me. And that happens when I'm watching. I just finished watching this show called The Uncanny Counter. It's a Korean show. It's quite good. And a lot of sad stuff, though. And when it gets really sad, I'm crying. And if Rachel's not out here, like she goes to bed before me, then I'll say out loud, "This is too sad. I don't want to watch this." I'll fast forward past it. Pardon the self-serving question. I was looking for my typing session and can't find it in the typing vids playlist. I'm sure. Oh, did we publish it? Did I not put it in the right playlist? That's very, very possible. That would not be surprising. I will find it for you. Don't you worry. I will type in the word session, and I will show all, and then I will find you. Let's see. Here you are. Silly Eric, did you not put it in the right playlist? What is wrong with you? You need to learn. You need to learn. You need to be beaten until you learn, Eric. Okay? I hope that's not putting it too bluntly, but it's absolutely true. You need to be physically beaten until you learn. No, I don't want to be physically beaten until I learn. Too bad, Eric. Too effing bad. That's not fair. It is fair. You earned every bit of it. So shit your pie hole. You know? I value myself. I'm tired of your pie hole interfering with my business. Here you go, pie hole. Lady Lou is sometimes known as Pie Hole by her close friends and intimates. Hey, Pie Hole. What, me? Yes? Practice freaks. Hi, Dom, SI or SE or whatever else. Well, I mean, it's interesting to note the following, that the types that are least enjoy, least willing to, least cooperative about practicing things multiple times are INTPs. And they're also the type that, there's a loud vehicle. I forgot what I was saying. It was too long ago. How am I ever going to remember that long ago? It has been. I was answering Boba Fett's question. I'm okay with practicing, but well, there is the El Monte Airport down there, but it's usually for little planes. That was a big plane, and I don't know why it was so close to us. No, normally they don't fly over us that much. We get a helicopter now and again, of course, when they're chasing after somebody, I suppose, or something like that. They bust out the chopper. Sometimes you'll see their spotlight looking around for a ne'er-do-well. In fact, now, my neighborhood is very much crime-free, but for those who don't recall, I got up one morning to discover that I left my car unlocked in the driveway and that somebody, like some homeless person or whatever, had slept in there, probably hid from the cops in there because we had heard like the helicopter going around the night before. And had stolen everything worth stealing in the car, which wasn't much, which was like, took some roaches and a pipe and it had some weed in it, and took coins, and that's about it. That's all there really was to take, you know. But it made me lock my car after that. So that's the story of why I lock my car. Oh, right. INTPs. No, they don't resist memorizing. They memorize very quickly. They resist practicing. So it's like when I used to play music with Spacey, once he got the song down, he had the words memorized and the melody memorized. Well, that was very quickly, much more quickly than you would ever expect anybody really to do. But then that didn't mean I was satisfied with his exact polish / precision of his approach, right? So I wanted it a very specific way, maybe. And he's like, I got the gist of it down, and I'll just let my extroverted intuition play it out as it wants to play it out in terms of specific delivery approaches or whatever. And I'm like, no, I want you to practice it this way. And he didn't like practicing at all, you know. So the thing is, that's the consequence, I guess, of learning stuff really quickly, is that you don't feel the need to have a lot of repetition. SI third is very selfish, so it only wants to repeat what it wants to repeat and not anything else. Yeah, is it in anything that can't stay focused on boring things? Yeah, and it's like it took me a while to shift into a frame of reference at all that allowed me to go, oh, I get it. It's like a different dimension, right? So with any, you get the gist of it, and then the execution of it, I guess you expect others for it to fall into the NI slot for them to sort of like intuit. I think intuition kind of, when things are close, it pushes them into the spots. Extroverted intuition especially. But anyway, it's like a different dimension, right? When I'm practicing it, a song or something, I'm generally practicing the whole thing and not really. It takes me a long time to get to know what the NI thing is that I want to polish. So it takes a long time to get to the spot where I know exactly how it is I want to play it. And then from there, really, I should practice to make sure I have that exact way I want to play it polished out, right? But INTPs never get to that second stage of knowing exactly the way they want to execute it, because they're going to execute it a little differently every time, probably. They don't get the idea that there is a single best way to execute it. They get the idea that leaving themselves in any room is necessary for them to engage their tool function while they're doing things, and it's a lot more comfortable for them than not giving themselves any room. I mean, the thing is, for INTPs, NI is countervalued, so they are, well, yes, that's valid, both have, but so it's like, for INTPs, they view the thing itself as something to be sung experientially in a way that allows them to engage authentically with it, which means giving them room to be expressive with their NE. Whereas for an ENTP like me, I see ultimately the lasting object is the thing that matters, and my live performance is not comprising really meaningful examples of lasting objects. And so I want to have my live performances conform as much to the object that I want it to be as possible, because I see my failure to play things exactly the same way every time as fundamentally failure to uphold an NI absolute value that I do actually want to uphold. I have this kind of jealousy, not really jealousy, but a kind of NI envy, right? My friend Corey and his ultra, I mean, he's got some good shit, you know. He's got some impressively good shit. Like, and it's not too familiar, and it's not too deviant, and it's also not too complicated, really. And yet it's got this angels on the wings. How does that song go? Let me put on Angels on the Wings for you, so I don't play it. I'll just have Corey play it for you. The version I have up on the internet. If you listen to this song, it's a really good song. It's also a really simple song, and yet at no point do you feel like it's too simple. Corey's songs, more than anybody else's songs I've encountered, have an extremely high replayability if you're playing them as a musician. I mean, or singing them. I mean, they get stuck in your head. So what I'm looking for here is this one, Angels in the Wings. Okay, here we go. Angels in the Wings.
Nothing they say could make her obey. That night I first met her, I could not forget her. Oh, it was just hard for me. And sudden, like all of a sudden, people would say you're on your own stage. But way back in December, or was it November, October, it's hard to say. My friends tried to warn me, they'd say you're just lonely and that it would fall away. fall away. But it did. Love for me stayed hidden. Moving towards the center, that's what they say. Without a clear winner, decisions are made. At least we're not thinner, at least for today. At least we've got dinner, at least we can play. Way back in December, or was it November, October, it's hard to say. My friends tried to warn me, they'd say you're just horny, and that it would fall away, fall away, fall away, fall away. Now state your game. There are angels in the wings, and though this doesn't change a thing, they are thinking about you. State your game. There are angels in the wings, and though this doesn't change a thing, they are thinking about you. State your games. There are angels in the wings, and though this doesn't change a thing, they are thinking about you. State your game. There are angels in the wings, and though this doesn't change a thing, they are thinking about you. And now they're talking about you, and now they're laughing about you. They are angels in the wings.
It's fantastic. It's like, it may not be obvious to a lot of people because it's not a great recording. It's way too trebly, but it's called Angels in the Wings, and it's like such a great song. Yeah. I figured out how to play it before. I could figure it out again, but I don't feel like figuring it out right now. This is not at all the only fantastic song of Corey's. Corey's got a lot of amazing work, but not a lot of amazing recordings, you know? There you go. Go ahead, Jeremiah. Claim away. He's the most like, I've got more respect for his music really than, I mean, he's a lost genius, you know. So it's like, if I'm gonna play this band song, this is from the TWFP live band, so again, not a great recording, but this is the best song that we played, and it was his song, Siddhartha Sedate, even though almost all the songs we played were my songs, and it was something I just had to deal with, right? At some point in life, I had to accept that if I wanted to grow as an artist, I had to accept that there was no disputing who was a genius and who wasn't, you know. So let me play this next song, Siddhartha Sedate, and see what you guys think about that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that is the date that I decide. What's possible to do? What you got to try? So that's the down. Spit out the tree. This moment you breathe, these mysteries you did not relate. Spit out the mind. What comes to sit out the now in the trap? Now heart that remains. Spit out the seeds. The company is greatest making dreams. The dark of the soil. I was like the dark of the soil. I was like the dark of the soil. At the sight, but I love the day. Where are you now? The fantasy. In the house of the right in front of me. What would I say? Spit out the eye. What's impossible to do? I spit out the try. Spit out the down. Spit out the bleed. Would you just go to your senses? Would you retreat? Your functional gate. Your body pride. Irresponsible now that you're hypnotized. The dust of the coil. At the sight. The dust of the coil. At the light. The dust of the coil. Light it bright. Let all the
That's pretty badass.
So anyway, needless to say, that song is pretty badass. Absolute instrumental. Absolute values are things that you see as well, I mean, I would suggest that you may not have liked the track, but the fact is, oh, just ban that guy. Hide that user. Okay. The thing is, if you were to, and it may be one of those things that would require you to it would require you to familiarize yourself with the song. What I'm saying here, Diamond, specifically about that first song, and most of Corey's songs, is that if you are playing his songs, they have a remarkable replayability, and you don't get sick of playing them, and that's very unusual. The thing is, if you're like me and you've played a ton of different covers, I used to play a lot of covers. I had this whole book, this whole what are you trying to? You're trying to link to the Azura Psych video? You want me to link to it? So the thing is, I've got a very good instinct for what songs are inherently good in themselves and which songs require the production value of the track to be good. And it's definitely the case that good songwriting, the best songwriting, the songs stand up as things that you can play, and that although there are some things that are good songs that are maybe too hard, like some of the songs from Nightmare Before Christmas are quite hard to play. I have the songbook, and they're made for piano, I guess. But regardless, you can tell a good song when you're playing it, in that it makes you want to continue playing it. It's not boring. You don't have to set yourself in a certain mood to kind of groove along with it or whatever. It picks you up and carries you along rather than you having to carry it. There's a very clear distinction between the two phenomena. If you sat down and tried to just hammer out on the guitar shit tons and shit tons and shit tons of different songs, then even if you're ignoring like me, you develop a pretty good sense for what songs are good and not. Now, it is objectively so that that's a particularly brilliant song, whether you like it or not. Okay. I can't prove that claim. I can't substantiate that claim. In other words, because it's for NI reasons, not for TI reasons. Now, regarding the question somebody asked a little while ago, which is, let's see. Yeah, absolute value is destination. Instrumental value is just the purpose to get you there. So it's like, for me, TE is necessary to get me to a destination of trying not to have those frustration points where it's like my bad TE is causing me to have this bad experience with my bad SI. But it's not satisfying in and of itself. I like classical music sometimes, but I mean, the thing is, classical music is proof of the objectivity of high quality, of quality in music. Which is to say, this is what I wanted to answer. Which is to say that we all remember Mozart, and we can sing Beethoven's Fifth and various other things that are resonant on an immortal level versus shit that is disposable, you know? And most stuff back then, just like now, is disposable. It doesn't last, it doesn't stand the test of time. What I wanted to address was this. I realize this probably is a gross oversimplification, but see, I basically say that doesn't make sense when presented with absurd systems, or is it more? Well, I mean, the first thing is to remember that TI is an object function. So when it takes action, it asks questions mostly. Which is to say, before saying that doesn't make sense, it would ask several clarification questions. So it seeks to pin people down on words that mean specific things so that it can make progress with language. If you're just TI without NE, then you're especially likely to mostly just ask questions before saying mugity mew, meowgity meow. The Buckling Knees song. Now, also, I wanted to say that somebody indicated that it sounded like the Kinks. I mean, that song. That's not a bad comparison. It's definitely not a bad comparison, but it doesn't sound like any specific Kinks song. It doesn't sound that much like the Kinks because it's not the same kind of rhythm the Kinks would use. You know, it's got more of a bounce to it. Regardless, it's its own unique thing, and Siddhartha sedate, Siddhartha sigh. What's impossible to watch Siddhartha try? Siddhartha sit down, Siddhartha's tree. In that moment he released the mysteries he did not relate. Siddhartha's mind. What would come to Siddhartha not when he tried? Now watch what he makes. Siddhartha seems to accompany his greatest waking dreams. Siddhartha was royal, half his life. Siddhartha the royal had it right. Siddhartha recoiled at the sight. Siddhartha sedate. Siddhartha, where are you now? The fantasy is to have Siddhartha right in front of me. What would I say? Siddhartha, it's impossible to watch Siddhartha try. Siddhartha, sit down. Siddhartha, please. Would you just come to your senses? Will you retrieve your functional gait? Your fighting pride. Irresponsible now that your hands are tied. Siddhartha was royal. Half his life. Siddhartha so royal. Had it right. Siddhartha recoiled at the sight. Siddhartha sedate. Siddhartha, where are you now? It's a great song. Even without any guitar, you can tell it's a great song. You know? It's amazing. Yeah, I get you, James Carolus. People get defensive on that thing. The thing is, I know how defensive Corey gets about that. That's the weird thing. It's like, this is the difference between an NI Dom making music representing an NE absolute value and an NE Dom making music representing an NI absolute value. So it's like, he has this other song that he sort of dismisses as worthless because basically he determined that it sounds like some song that he's heard a long time ago. Let me see if I can find which song it is. It's I don't know if I have it up here or not. This is funny.
Anybody seen a moistened finger?
Oh, Jerome, nobody said your name, Jerome. Nobody called you in here. Why did you? What?
Did somebody say my name?
No, we said moisten. It doesn't even sound anything like Jerome.
That's what I said, though.
Oh God.
Somebody seen a moistened finger?
Don't.
I had a moistened finger in my office.
I know, Jerome. You
ever seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I'd say look on the other side of the building.
Okay.
Yeah, go look over there. I'm sure.
Yeah, my moistened finger. We'll walk away. Come moistened finger. We'll walk away.
Okay.
My moistened finger.
Check the other side. Check the other side. That's good stuff. Let me tell you, we were definitely thoroughly thwacked out when we were making that. Thoroughly. Thoroughly thwacked? You're thoroughly thwacked? You're thoroughly thwacked? You're really macked? Thoroughly thwacked? Let's see. What other exciting things do we have to share with you today? Exciting moments. Moments of glory, moments of wonder. How about this great blues song? Everybody loves a good blues song. Gosh, that was fun.
I recently learned about the word yar from the Philadelphia Story, the movie. My, she was yar. It's talking about a boat.
Right.
The she. Boats are very frequently referred to as feminine.
And they're frequently admired for their degree of yarness.
Right.
If you go in the nautical cultures, what you'll find is ongoing, populace-wide study of yar.
Right. And if you're engaging in trying to better a boat, you're said to be yarring.
Right.
You're yarring the boat.
You're yarring it. Right.
On the street, it's the Yizar.
Right.
I'm on the Yizar right now. I can't go down. I can't go meet up with you at the club tonight. I'm out of cheddar, and I'm yarring. I'm on the Yizar. I have to wash my yar.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I can't go out with you tonight. I have to wash my yar.
Oh, Corey.
It'd be a funny job would be a yar consultant. Goes on a boat to tell people whether or not it's yar. No, this boat's not yar. Well, what can we do to make it yar? I don't know. That'll be $800. For what? For yar identification. It's not yar.
That's me and Corey joking around. Having a little trip down memory lane, you know? It's SI satisfying to me. Two pals being goofs, yeah. Corey making me laugh. Corey was really making me laugh with that Yar stuff. I have watched all of Hunter x Hunter. You, Vogan? I don't remember who that is. It's been a while since I've watched it. I've watched a lot of anime, you know. I watch anime coming out the wazoo, as they say. No, we weren't on any LSD. We were just on a lot of meth. You know, it's like, I'm still the same way now, regardless of what I'm on. It didn't really make that big of a difference. But we definitely had a lot of fun. You know, at the beginning of that time period, it was great for a while, you know. We had a lot of fun. We made a lot of things. We made a lot of box monitors. We made a lot of Pop Goes Lethal podcast. It was a time of learning, a time of truth, a time of adventure, a time of Ruth. A time before the time that is. A time before now. What's that, my jizz? If you go to the Wayback Machine and you look up popgoeslethal.com, then you will get to see some weird stuff. I had this massive website for a while called popgoeslethal.com that was complete it was the structure of it was NE based, which was to say, I had all these different like pages of arrangements of things, and all this crazy HTML art project-y kind of stuff. Kind of stuff I don't think you can do with web design anymore, really. But if you check it out, if you feel like checking it out, go to the Wayback Machine. Look back to, I don't know, 2004 or something at popgoeslethal.com. That link won't work now if you just plug it into the internet. But if you go to the Wayback Machine and search it, there's a lot of... the thing is, unfortunately, so much of the site is lost. Like, the Wayback Machine didn't do a great job of saving all the images and stuff. But there are some sections of it that are fairly intact, and it's kind of crazy to look at. Like, if you go to the right date, you'll see this karate girl throwing this thing and saying, yeah! And it's like red and white and black, and then there's these links for various, like, Computadora, Mr. Strauss, or whatever. I was really into using the frame moving around capacity of Dreamweaver that it had at the time. Like, making things fly around the screen and stuff like that. And having autoplay shit that would... Like, I'd try to time out using Dreamweaver's frame moving thing and autoplay audio. I'd try to time them together to make videos like that in an incredibly TE stupid way. You can sort of find an example of one of those for the song Baseline. That's the song Baseline by Computadora. It's a very simple little song, but it's kind of fun. Like, okay, what the heck? Let's go on a trek. Let's go on an adventure of learning. Sure, let's do that. Let's go on an adventure of learning. Here we go. The Wayback Machine Internet Archive. So, let's go back to 2004. Let's look at July 18th. Yeah, there. You can see, hopefully, what it's doing, right? It throws things around like that. It used to have a sound that went with it, too. It said, yeah! Or something like that. Hopefully you can see that in the screen here. Yeah, I think you could. Good. So then you could click on different things. Like, you click on this. It takes you to this thing. It used to be if you like hover over different body parts, it like lights them up. See? Oh, it makes that thing pop up over there. Talk with your mouth. It's... Nothing's better than looking at... Great news, I've learned how to read. The flesh cups on the side of your head are for hearing. Hear music that will make you live. Hear music that will make you die. talk with your mouth. So let's see. Let's look at looking art, as it's called. Let's go looking art. Come on, looking art. Seems to be missing a few segments of the picture that I made for this. Come on, Web Archive. Quit your sloweries. I'd click on this Brave Little Mugs, but there's some pictures of boobs in there, and I'd get in trouble with YouTube. I don't want that to happen. So instead, I think I will... I mean, what are these things, right? You know. Wait, where did all the links go? Hey, hey, hey. I said, hey, 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 where did all the links go? Reload. Okay. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, there. Drawings. The site can't be reached. Maybe you're just not trying hard enough. How about this one? Drawings. Come on, drawings. Aha. Proceed. I demand the visual stimuli that you have promised me. Note, clicking upon the images is the action that brings forth the next image, thusly is a succession of images achieved. Okay, thanks for the instructions. Appreciate that. There's a drawing of mine that I made. As you see, it's pretty good. Pretty good drawing, Eric. What's this thing? It's a little nerve-wracking, but I think drawings should be safe. That's it? There's no drawing there for me to look at? You're doing a shitty job of showing me this drawing. Open image in new tab. There is no image. Oh no. Let's go to the next one. Oh, it's Delilah. Look at that. What an adorable little darling. What an adorable little darling. What an adorable little darling. What? No picture? Oh no. Whatever shall I do? Now I've lost my way like Little Bo Peep. Okay, that's enough of that. So anyway, those are the kind of exciting things that sometimes things happen with things. This website is chaotic evil. It's not chaotic evil. I mean, it's not my best self. Yeah, we're looking at the Pop Goes Lethal website, which is it's a juvenile manifestation of myself, really, but still the same guy, obviously, just a little bit more crazy back then. Hi, Jonathan Bassani. Oh yeah, you're late. You are late. You missed all the good part. We already used up all of Eric's good parts. Now you're down to like the bit of wing that doesn't have any meat on it. A little bit of chicken wing. The little bit of chicken wing called love.
everything is sad. Oh, hark, terror, horridness, and bad times. Everything is turning to shit before my eyes. Oh, yes, the fruits are all rotten, and all the getting's long since been gotten. And if you don't know how horrible things are, then you'd better wake up. 'Cause time's almost up and the end of everything is coming soon. Yes, soon will occur our Armageddon, doom and extinction from the world and the universe as well, as everyone on earth gets tossed down to hell. It is Armageddon time, rangers of the dead rising from the grave, cutting off the heads of everybody that they see, oh so angrily, and then they feast on entrails for hours. Will this be the end? Is this humanity's time to say goodbye? Sadness, sorrow, sorrow, sadness, sadness, sorrow, sorrow, sadness. That's a song called Sorrow and Sadness, Doom and Armageddon. End of days are coming. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Boo for global extinction. I don't like it. How about you? Well, I'm against global extinction, and I'm against things that are bad. I oppose nuclear war, and I oppose people being sad. I am against rainforest deforestation, and I'm also opposed to war. And I don't like it when genocide is committed on people for no reason. And even if they have a very good reason, I still oppose genocide. I don't know what it is, perhaps just my particular height and discolor, thickness of skin. But somehow genocide gets under it again, and I say no. I oppose you, genocide. I oppose torture 'cause it's bad. Even if I think torturing you would be rad. No, I don't, but if I did it wouldn't matter, 'cause I'd still agree it was wrong. Has this song become a torturous endeavor, something for you to endure? Has it gone on too long? Has it made you feel wrong? Has it made you feel bad? Has it made you feel sad? 'Cause if so, then I'm bad, and that makes me feel bad, and that's okay, I guess, but it shouldn't be. No, it shouldn't be. All of us have a responsibility to take ownership of the feelings of others. If you don't feel good, I should do something about that. Make you feel better right now. When I see suffering, I cry. And I know everything must die. But not on my watch, buddy. That's what I'll say. I'm risk averse and risk avoidant today.
Hooray! There you go. That song is a very, very moral song. Yes, Jessica, that was improvised. It's a very moralist song. It's kind of like Sunday school in song form. That could be the title of it. Sunday school in song form. Yeah, I'm so blurry. Back issues are killer. I'll tell you what to do with your back. Go like this. Smack, smack, smack. Go like this. Bend, bend, bend. Go like this and twist again. Then your back will feel fine. You go like this and you go like that. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you very much. I appreciate your kind words. I really do appreciate it when people enjoy my music in whatever capacity, you know. It's like I'm hit and miss across the board. Sometimes I'm playing like my written songs and stuff and I'm super on and nailing them. Other times I'm playing them and I'm feeling bored. Like I just find it's like I think to myself, well, you should practice them, but I just get bored, you know. I just want to make up something else, like something new or whatever. Bend is twist is not good. Oh, that's not good. Are you sure you just don't have stiff back? Maybe you should hire a lady to walk on your back. Have you thought about that, Elise? As you could hire a topless lady to walk on your back. Topless massage. You know, they have topless barbers. They have a topless barber in Los Angeles here. Thanks, Jessica. You're sweet. Rich and I used to go to this weed store in downtown LA that we'd drive past this van that was parked on. There's this crossover road from the 101 freeway to the 134. It's called, well, I call it Forest Lawn Drive because when you get off on it from the 134, it's called Forest Lawn Drive. But when you get on it from the 101, it's called something else. But I forget what it's called. Anyway, every time you go on that way across from the 101 to the 134, you pass this barber ad. It's a painted on the side of a van. Topless barber, men only, and it's got a phone number. And basically, if you want, you can, you know, it's an in-house barber, and they'll come to your house without a shirt on, with their boobs out, and cut your hair. Alan hired one. The funny thing is, the topless barber says men only, so Alan would not be allowed to hire her, I guess. She probably does like maid titty inspections. All right, staff, titty inspection time. That Ellen, she really got it when her behavior was exposed, you know? It's like, if you behave that way and it gets out to people, then you're gonna, you know, it ended up costing her a lot in terms of her legitimacy, credibility, likability, watchability, etc. I mean, does she still have a show? Is she still popular? Does anybody know? It's a good thing. Good thing to put down as a hobby for some like questionnaire. Berating the maids. Is that a hobby? Yeah, I like to berate them. Also, occasionally I'll, you know, if they really misbehave, I obviously gotta spank them. You get the sense that watching Korean TV that people in authority roles in Korea, even in the workplace and stuff, sometimes hit their subordinates. Unless it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just like an overplayed way to increase drama in the show or something, but it seems to happen all the time in Korean shows that subordinates get beaten up and or hit by their boss, and they're just expected to take it. Schroth method. What's the Schroth method? The Schroth method of scrotal scrubbing, sometimes known as the SMSS. Hi, and welcome to this video on the Schroth method. Hi, and welcome to this video on the Schroth method. Schroth. On the Schroth. The Schroth. Hi, and welcome to this video on the God, that's fucking hard to say. The Schroth? Throth? Fucking, how do you say that word? Schroth. That's right, Schroth, okay. Hi, and welcome to this video on the Schroth method of scrotal scrubbing. My name's Eric, and I'm not just a spokesperson. I'm also a regular user of this method of scrotal scrubbing. If you're like me, no part of your body accumulates more dead skin than your scrotum. And you want to scrub it in a way that's both very gentle and cleansing. That's where the Schroth method of scrotal scrubbing comes into play. Using the special Schroth cloth, which is a microfiber, microlinen microcloth designed especially for scrotal scrubbing, patent pending, and the special Schroth scrotal scrub, which is to say, it's a scrub called scrub. So that's why it's the scrotal scrub. Anyway, regardless, it's basically a scrub. What you might call an ointment with pumice in it that's especially designed. It's pH, it's strong enough for a vag, but pH balanced for a scrotum. So, needless to say, our sponsor here today on this live stream is the Schroth method of scrotal scrubbing and the related Schroth industry products, Schroth scrotal scrub, and the Schroth microfiber microlinen microcloth for scrotal scrubbing. Then there's, of course, our bottle of Schroth scrotal after scrub, which is a stinging alcohol sensation that'll brisken up any day. It'll brisken up any day from your undercarriage to, as goes the undercarriage, so goes the self, as the saying says. And if you want to have a brisk self, a day of briskness, it's a good idea to use Schroth's scrotal scrub after scrub with added briskness, which is mostly just alcohol plus a little bit of fragrance. It's a scrotum smell countering agent. So the thing is, different parts of your body emit different kinds of smells. Like your armpits emit body odor, BO smell, right? But your scrotum emits scrotaliness as a smell. So obviously you need the smell components in the smell of the alcohol after scrub wash is whatever I was saying. It's important. Dr. Bronner's soap. Dr. Bronner's soap for jizzunk. I'm not sure how confidently you can claim powerful insights at this point. You're new. Well, it depends what you compare the insight magnification against. It's like, the fact is, this is a fairly highfalutin place in terms of abstractions and stuff, and even a lot of people who actually watch me will express sometimes, okay, you're too abstract. Can you concretize this shit a bit more? Can you be more NI, a little less TI? And I totally understand that, because I don't really like to watch videos that are very TI myself. They tend to be boring, although occasionally I do. Like, I watched this video the other day on our immune systems that was boring, but I felt like I should finish it anyway. It was boring, but I learned a few things. I don't know if that's really a TI thing, but regardless. What's definitely a TI thing are these videos I sometimes watch that I don't understand, explaining Meow's equation or whatever. I don't really fully understand them, but I get some general sense of, okay, I can kind of see the conceptual scaffolding here or something like that. Just try to keep up with actually smart people a little bit more, instead of just pretend smart like me. What do you mean you're pretend smart, Eric? I mean, actually smart people, like Skagier's somebody who's actually smart, right? Like, he's studying math, even though it's super hard. Like, who wants to learn all that super hard math, Thanks for wrong. Here's the thing. I could either be real creative, funny, whatever, and pretend smart, or the other way around. And I'd rather it be the first way. Can you study math? Well, I'm sure there's been an occasion where I've said to somebody, quit studying that math and pack a ball already, So, based on that, I'm going to say yes, it's possible. Obligatory multiple intelligence coming to aid. What I should do is say circumstances in which type is the smartest guy or gal in the room, and then come up with circumstances that are exactly designed for that type, and have a circumstance in which they have to display intelligence. In other words, in which their frame of reference is revealed to be superior in ways that can be understood by anybody. That'd be a good, Well, she's still sleeping. The only reason I'm up even at this point is that I had a typing session scheduled for 7 in the morning, but the person didn't show up. I made myself get out of bed. It's like, okay, I got up at like 5 or something to go pee. And I went back to lie down for maybe another like 20 minutes, but I had to make sure I didn't go way too much to sleep. So I just got up, made coffee, yeah. And then guess what happens? Person doesn't show up. I'm like, hey, what the hell? I took the Adderall already. You know, I like lava soap myself. Have anybody? No, they didn't pay. Does anybody have any? Has anybody else tried lava soap? Lava soap is the best soap there is. It's the scratchiest, most cleaningest, most green and pumicey soap that there is. Let me see if I can show you a bar. Needless to say, the sponsor today is not just the Schroedel scrubbing method, but also lava soap. Do I have a bar? If I were going to make a lava soap commercial, I would have the commercial be a quick one like this. It's a guy who says, hey buddy, can you spare a bar of lava soap? The guy sees somebody walking down the street carrying a bunch of lava soap, right? Hey buddy, can you spare a bar of lava soap? All I've got are these. And the guy's got a big box that's full of all kinds of other soaps besides lava soap. It makes it really clear that even though he has all these other soap options, he still wants to bum a bar of lava soap off of the guy. That's a good ad, right? Well, this is 2 bars. This is actually 2 bars of lava soap that are in got tape on them, so they are packaged together. Hi, Christopher Chapin. Yeah, it dries you out. This is very drying soap. If you enjoy being dried out by scratchy soap, you'll enjoy having an intimate experience with lava. I bet there are some people, since this brand doesn't really advertise or anything, who thought this was pronounced lava soap. Do you use Irish Spring? It's pretty good smelling soap. Of course, the thing about Irish Spring is, if I ever go to Ireland, I'm going to expect their springs to smell like that, and I'm going to be pretty disappointed if it doesn't. They've really got it in my head that their springs smell like that. Same with English breakfast tea. I've been to England. Their breakfasts don't smell like that. I was really disappointed. Also, Old English. The beer. Old English people don't smell anything like that. I was really disappointed. I was expecting it to smell like 40s that gangsters drink. You go to sleep. No need to apologize for you attending to your SI. That's very important, okay? Don't treat your introverted sensing like a bee. Okay? Remember that. That's a good law. A good universal law. Irish Spring has some creepy ingredients. Like what? Like bat wings and witches' toes? That would be cool. Do you remember a guy who was a comedian in the olden days named Soupy Sales? Anybody remember Soupy Sales? He had these big buggy eyes. Good old Soupy Sales. Hilarious hilarity ensued everywhere he went. Yeah, he's the kind of guy who would hang out with Tim Conway, another classic comedian. Tim Conway did that short golfer guy, and people just thought that was hilarious. It wasn't, but people thought it anyway. In contrast, take somebody like Bob Newhart, who's probably an INTP. He's way funnier than either Soupy Sales or Tim Conway or the two of them combined. There's a famous clip of Soupy Sales opening the door to a naked lady. Yeah, he was still rather all over TV when I was little too. He was in those like 70s Disney movies that were live action. Sometimes I get Tim Conway confused with Mickey Rooney, I think. Okay, listen, you should not jump back while driving. You're going to need to stay in the front seat, holding the wheel, and pressing the pedals and stuff the whole time. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It made me want to go wrestle with Rachel. Well, those old TVs were big back in the day. It could probably support a grown man being all over it. Humping on the TV. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm humping on the TV. Wuhan bat sushi. This is bat tartare. It's locally sourced from the Wuhan region. That's not local. I mean remotely sourced. Organically grown. Harvested wild. Wait, that's not organically grown then. Okay, harvested wild. From authentic Chinese caves. My voice is deep. My voice is as deep as your love, woman. If you think about that, if you guys realize that song about the Bee Gees song, it took me a long time to realize that what that song meant. How deep is your love, you know? But then I listened to it more carefully and I'm like, oh, he means how deep is your vagina. I should have realized. He should have just said that. Then I would have known more clearly what he was referring to. You can be nostalgic about BC times. Let's talk about the Sumerians. Remember those old Sumerians? They were hilarious. They were always like, Sumeria this, Sumeria that. Summer, or Sumer you might call it. Sumer, Sumer. Any of those things. Then the Mesopotamians came along or something. And they were all hanging out. It was like Sumeria, no Mesopotamia, no Sumeria. And then they were all like, fuck off. And I don't know, some stuff happened. Maybe they broke some clay pots, I think they broke a lot of clay pots. One day they had a massive clay pot breaking accident that brought down their whole civilization. It finally came home to roost. They kept using substandard materials in their clay pot making to cut corners, and one day it got really humid and all their clay pots broke. That's the leading theory from archaeologists as to how the kingdoms of Sumeria and Babylonia fell in the Mesopotamian Fertile Crescent. I'm going to settle here on this Fertile Crescent, yeah. It's the fertilest crescent of croissants that are fertile with butter. How deep is your love? "12 and a half feet deep. Wow, girl. You've got an incredibly deep vagina. Yeah, it's deeper than my entire body length. How do you pull that off? I wind it around in circles like my lower intestine." I see. Makes a man wonder, will my penis go around corners? Hey Eric, when you were younger, did you ever make your voice higher than your natural voice when talking to people? No. I probably made it lower than my natural voice. No, I mean, I don't think that's body shaming. I'm celebrating huge, cavernous, deep vaginas. I celebrate them as spelunking opportunities. Listen, a lot of people want to really get up in there, you know. And there's got to be somebody out there to handle the enormous men that make the rest of us normal men feel inadequate, you know. Somebody's got to be able to handle those horse dongs out there. But you need a few big cavernous vaginas as well. The Devil's Hole in Yemen. Are you talking about my butthole? I do have a lot of Yemenis living in my butthole for some reason. I don't know why they moved there. I said, get out of here, Yemenis. Don't you know that there are already Alawites here? We've got no room for you Yemenis and your Shiite ways. Or are they Sunnis? I don't remember. One of the two. They're one of those two main branches of that religion over there that they practice. What's it called? Oh yeah, that's right. I don't even want to say it. I figure, like, YouTube will be like, hey, what's that? What are you talking about over there? The North Sentinelese? Uncontacted ones in the Amazon? Uncontacted people? Let's hurry up and contact their ass. Let's hurry up and bespoil their savagery with our civilization. Obviously. Obviously, somebody needs to civilize those savages. Come on. Let's go give them lighters and t-shirts. That's what they need. And electricity. Cell phones. They need cell phones at least. I mean, come on. You've got people... The funny thing is, you've got the same people in, like, Sweden... who are advocating that there's a natural right to internet service, are also advocating, the same people who would just be like appalled at the notion of interfering with the savagery of the savages, you know? And if you were to tell them, no, I'm trying to make sure they can exercise their natural right to internet service, I wonder what they'd say. Oh, you have a natural right to internet service now, huh? That's funny. Like, where in nature are you sourcing this internet service from? You know, that's really... Maybe I should do a Kickstarter campaign to civilize the savages. a secular... We'll call it a secular drive, a secular civilization of the savage barbarians in the jungle. With our goal being to bring them lots of modern gadgets and get them all enamored with consumerism. And in order to make it more okay sounding, we'll also teach them agriculture and shame, you know. We'll teach them how to be ashamed of their nudity. They're so savage, Smitty, that they're not even ashamed of their own titties. They have to cover them up. They're just walking around with those things flopping around like it ain't nobody's business. We can't be having that, okay? If your culture still lets ladies walk around with their boobs just flopping everywhere, then you have not learned the lesson of the Garden of Eden, which is cover those titties, girls. Cover them titties up. That's the lesson of the Garden of Eden. A woman's 30-foot deep love tunnel would naturally generate an electromagnetic field that wouldn't actually be an internet connection, but would function exactly the same way as one. Technically, it would just be an electromagnetic field that supports the transport of data of the variety the internet currently transports. Clothes are more sexual than nudity? Alright then, next time I'm going to have sex with Rachel with our clothes on. Hey baby, you know it's sexy? Leaving all of our clothes on. Yeah, that is sexy. Let me touch your clothes. Ooh, and then I'll touch your clothes. This is great. If clothes really were more sexual than nudity, then sex wouldn't always proceed from more clothes to fewer clothes. And yet it generally seems to. I do think that it's cute when a girl leaves her socks on. She's got those kind of little socks that girls wear. You know, they only go up to your ankle. They don't go any higher. It makes me realize why the Chinese bound their women's feet. It's like, oh, that is kind of cute. That is kind of cute. Look at those little feet. Hump, hump, hump. Oh yeah, hump, hump. Like that. That's what it's like when you get to see what it looks like when I'm making sexual intercourse at a lady. Specifically Rachel, but this is what it looks like. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's good. Oh yeah. You feel like you got a first-hand experience of it? Except I got my clothes on, you see. So it made it so sexual. I'm still holding the lava soap. Why? I don't know. Putting things down. It's one of those complicated SC things that always confuses me. Wait, I've been holding this lighter for, what, 3 hours or something? You saw one of the Greta videos this week. Who's Greta? That's exactly how it sounds. Ew, yeah. Ew, ew. Ew, yeah. Yeah. Ew. Ew, yeah. Yeah. Ew. Ew, yeah. Yeah. Ew. You determine I'm a swampy dude? I mean, I don't think I'm very swampy, but I do think I'm a little bit oily. Like, I can always feel like this kind of oil accumulating behind my ear a little bit between baths after a day or two. But in general, I'm not particularly. I'm pretty much in the middle range of. I'd say probably on the lower side of grossness in general, but like Rachel's not very gross, even when she's being gross. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the key test. When you're being gross and not bathing, how quickly do you get how gross is the question. So Rachel's very non-gross on that metric. On the metric of how often are you being gross in general, like not taking baths and stuff, we're both like the same. Rachel and I were not especially on top of our SI shit. Oh yeah, I don't want to even watch that. It'd probably just make me angry. I don't want to get, scolded by somebody who doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. I'm too shy, hush, hush, IUI. And that's fair. I don't care what anybody says. That's fair. Ran slow, nobody yet to show. Place the slabs below, let them go, they will start to grow. More years ensue and tears gnashing through, holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true and eternally new. Oh, when the slope appears in charge today, options at large show other ways. Give each a chance now, once quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork, it's not easy stopping short, too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better fork was always headed north, but has a bitter force, enemy ground. Was 100,000 million years ago, time ran slow, nobody yet to show. Place the slabs below, let them go, they will start to grow. More years ensue, tears dashing through, holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true and eternally new. When the slope appears in charge today, options at large show other ways. Give each a chance now, once quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork, not easy stopping short, too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course was headed ever north, now there's a fitter force, enemy ground. It was 100,000 million years ago. That was pretty good. I don't know how to play those songs. I gotta figure out Nefarious Deeds. I have no idea how to play the Stabbing Everyone song. That would be challenging. Eric, you know what you need to do? Whoosh! Like that. El Nino, my ass. You call those storms? Where is the rain? Those drizzles don't count, I drizzle more when I be in the sink. just the right height to catch all of the undesired splatter. And when I'm done, I'll go outside and climb a ladder. I will go up there and take me a bucket and pour water inside. And I'll say, oh, Mr. Cloud, won't you drop it from the bottom? Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom on me. Here's second verse. It's the need of some kind of words, just the right ones that won't distract one from the story, such as it is, not that it is particularly gory. But I will go up there and take me a bucket and pour water inside. And I'll say, hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom on me. Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it on the bottom on me. That's too hot. I need to move this a little further away from myself. Can I hands-on figure out how to play those songs on here on stream? Can I hands-on trial and error figure out how to play those songs here on stream? Which ones? Like Nefarious Deeds? I mean, I could figure out Nefarious Deeds probably. But, you know, I know already that Nefarious Deeds has got it's got a weird rhythm thing going on with the bass that's kind of necessary to make it work. Like, the bass goes over the first thing, a beat, and then picks up off. So, even if I could figure it out, it wouldn't quite sound the same. Unless I played that in it, and I have trouble singing it over that. So, but I'm going to try to figure it out. You guys have made me try singing a song you normally sing with your guitar. I don't know the words to Nefarious Deeds or Stabbing. I don't know. I have to see if I don't know where they are or anything either. So there are no words to the Stabbing one. The Stabbing one is just a freestyle. The lyrics in the Stabbing song are just a freestyle. There are some songs that I like to sing a cappella. Like, well, I mean, I can think of songs, not my own songs, that I like to sing a cappella, which are usually like kind of jazz songs. But for my own songs, which songs do I find myself singing? I mean, I find myself singing Cloudy Day in Los Angeles a lot. That one I like to play the guitar with it too when I sing it. It's just a fun song to play. It's gratifying or something. It feels very natural. Sammy has a story that needs to be told. This is a song of an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. Right up, jab, married 19, 4 kids and 3 kids wean. Weary now and questioning the path. Agency out, paces discretion. Locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression. They offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Yet at 20 that urban fun, likewise at 21, and so forth well up into middle age. He once thought would set him free, became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression. Offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Everybody's panicked about the kids. Wow, lock 'em up with extra dexedrine and mathematics to improve success, or ignore unimposed arrests. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses, way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression, making sure they're underneath them always. Run. It's really just depression by parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying. Well, they see their fear of dying. Yes, they feed upon the futures of the young. Something like that. So that's me singing without a guitar, but it's like, and the part of the reason I sang that song without a guitar is I normally look at the guitar. I probably don't have it memorized, so I could sing it mostly without looking at anything. We need to see. We need to hear. Oh, we need to pen happenings down by a means to judge. A logic to life we divisively unlike, and from which we'll rarely budge. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into win heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition the rectories and call destruction of the whole damn world. Judy shares our limits. Hoping Julie will too. Jerry shares for 4 minutes. He just can't share things like they do. And Judy always thought that she should have bought two when they had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about should have not, although she ever called, she'll die. People everywhere gather up, enemies outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities into win heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting Carson and Desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. They're all partition the rectories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Yes, that's a lot of musical adventure for you. Sure is. Ain't that the truth? Ain't rap the roof? Sure is. This is a Billy Bragg song. Between Marx and Mary, in the dictionary, there was Mary. Between the deep blue sea and the devil, that was me. If ever anyone would have me with my
session with the young Susanna York. It was merry.
I can't do it at speed anymore. It's been a long time. All right, I'm done. I'm dizzy deep done. It's fun. It's been fun, but I'm dizzy deep done. And 111 means 111, son. So I am dizzy deep done. If you're really done, Eric, why you still rapping? I'm not rapping. This is just finished scrapping. That's all the end of the live stream now because I'm done. No, you're not, son. You're rapping still. It's fun. But I'm done. I said I'm done. But you're still rapping, son. It's fun. No, but really, I am done. Okay, well, now you stopped rapping, so maybe I'm more likely to believe it. And yet you're still talking. Are you sure you're done? I'm done. I'm done. That's it. My intuition was right. There's something wrong with you. What kind of comments sometimes people leave. I knew there was something off about you. My intuition was right. Okay, fucktard. What else can you say in response to that? But, alright. Please get your tardation out of my pie. I don't like tardation in my pie. It's well understood by pie makers everywhere. Okay, thank you for being here. Sorry for the extended ending. For the 9 of you still here, wow, you guys are troopers. I greatly appreciate your attention. Welcome you back next time to another future exciting episode of Talking with Famous People.